You know that moment when you throw your back out, that exquisitely sharp and unannounced ping of pain that paralyzes your pleura, quite literally taking your breath away. What if I told you there's a way to skip the part where you're bedridden and helpless for days on end? My name's Martin. I run a rehabilitative massage practice called Wake Massage in Portland, Oregon, and I've got a way of working with the body that has not only helped countless others, but myself as well. What you can expect from watching this video is a thorough understanding on the nature of the body through my lens, taken from tens of thousands of personal exchanges over the course of a decade in a field. You'll at the very least learn what I know about two things: how the body reacts and how to handle those painful moments when things become exciting. Thriving is the goal, which means free from the tyranny of chronic pain. And as an added note, what I have to share with you today is applicable to you regardless of how fit and functional you want to be, because here we're uncovering all of the super basics of whatever wellness is about. I don't think many people have really spent the time to understand what it all means for them. By becoming aware of our definitions on these things, what it means to you and your body to truly hydrate, to stretch, to foam roll, to choose a Pilates class over a soccer match. We can determine our fate and what wellness really means to us. Now, I personally believe that somatic mastery is really just the first step of many to whatever kind of ascension that a person goes for. And my dream, as far as why I'm striving towards somatic mastery, is so that I can live the richest life that I can possibly go for and play as hard and as often as I damn well please. I like to climb trees and do action sports, and I want to be able to thrive on that level of freedom to explore the wonders of this world for the rest of my life in a loincloth, whether or not a family and children are in my future. Now that you know my why, the last couple videos we've covered this concept of the animal body and how that perspective helps explain the seemingly random behaviors from the things that we put our bodies through, physically, mentally, emotionally, and on. We've also covered how movement and pressure are languages of the body. So, let's develop some fluency in these languages, shall we? Firstly, we'll cover how to injure yourself. At a glance, here's the general formula for ensuring that you develop a soft tissue injury presented in a very non-formulaic way. Number 1, sudden, forceful movement. 2, from a state of prolonged rest or on cold tendons and ligaments. 3, and dehydration with sticky tendons and ligaments. 4, with lazy form. And 5, requiring more strength than is available. If you would personify an emotion with these characteristics, the emotion would be haughty, which is some kind of arrogant and ignorant. And now that we're clear on what it takes to ensure that you get hurt, we can derive, by playing a game of opposites, how to ensure a high likelihood of not injuring yourself. Here's what that looks like. Slow, progressive movement in a hydrated and dynamic state of activity, prioritizing form over force, and respecting the body's limits and quirks. If these characteristics were personified in an emotion, I would say this one gives humility, which is some kind of understanding and compassionate. When you move slowly with full control over your form, you give yourself the space to fully attend mindfully to how your body is reacting to what you're requiring of it. You give your body the presence of mind that is required to train it by using the leash of the breath, paired with the medicine of movement, showing it what you need with patience and compassion. Now let's say you did throw your back out, you're in bed, stuck, a captive audience, and even breathing ends up creating pain. First off, I'm sorry that happened to you. Yes, it sucks and is totally unfair. There is hope. Though the situation feels dire, there is a way. It's not easy, but it is effective. So I'm going to describe what likely happened that threw your back out, and you can tell me if I'm spot on or just completely delusional. Your experience of getting injured. You were just fine, doing around, probably sweeping, picking something up, maybe reaching for something high or far away, and then ping and bam, the middle finger of Zeus hits you in a spot that makes you gasp and contort like a spooked cat. This ping of pain made you scared that it means that you're dying in some sort of a way. So you waddle your way over to the chair or the bed, gasping and keeping the ribs inflated to give your muscles some rest and pneumatic support. But the range of motion that is available to you cinches down inch by inch, minute by minute, until just the mere act of existing hurts an 11 out of 10. Now, I've had this happen to my low back, mid back, and neck over and over again from all the various things that I've put it through these past 34 years. This is the natural way of injuries. The body's reactive mechanisms protect and immobilize regions of painful vulnerability. It's a gift and a blessing, really. Who needs a splint when you've got biology? People with broken bones, they still need splints. Really though, yes, it sucks, but your body is at its literal breaking point with you and has no other way of getting your attention. Like when you ignore your dog at the door for too long, so they pee on your carpet. Your body was speaking to you in subtler ways the whole time, whatever it was, whether under hydration, mindless and lazy movement, doing something that you don't have the proper strength for, making sudden movements from a state of prolonged stillness, or any combination of these. If you follow the formula, you get the results. If any of these things are regular habits for you, I would assume so are the pings of pain. Now, my unpopular opinion, seriously, it doesn't have to be this way. Aging doesn't have to come with dysfunction attached, and there are plenty of people that are proving that this very day. So, here's the same situation, except in an alternate universe where you're not in bed sucking at life, but instead carrying on with your usual responsibilities like a boss. So, you were doing, ping, bam, middle finger of Zeus, contortion like a spooked cat, except in this moment, your body enters matrix mode from the shot of adrenaline that this ping of pain created for you. You take advantage of this, freeze everything, and regain control of your breath first and foremost. Once you're 100% intentional about your inhales and your exhales, and you're certain that you didn't just get shot with an arrow, keeping the rhythm and flow of the breath, you begin to coordinate, slowly, cautiously regaining control of your movements, inhaling, moving a little bit, freezing, and exhaling. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Here's the hard part. So the body still wants to seize, so it's going to oblige itself. But you, the owner of this body, have a different plan. The deliberate and willful act of guiding your body through movement in coordination with the breath unlocks an extra millimeter of movement for every successful cycle of breath. Now, this may not be exactly the case numbers-wise, but seeing it this way helps give perspective on the level of mindful and patient intention required to rehabilitate the body, calm the nervous system, and coax the body to trust your leadership. Now, how do I know this? What makes me so sure that this is how it goes? Well, I'm glad you asked. I've got several stories about this kind of thing, and it's difficult to pick just one, but I also don't want to write a whole novel and read it off to you, because I'm sure you also don't want to sit here for a whole novel. So, here's one of a personal experience. I'll try to keep this brief and not boring. Once upon a time, I had tweaked my low back for the first time in a while, just a week prior to moving day, and then re-injured it again, even more severely, with just one day to go. So I slept with it all nice and seized up the best I could, mentally steeling myself for the impending moving day that I had no option but to pull through on and finish. Long story short, instead of being a baby and laying down all day helpless and frozen, I was able to navigate gaining control of my body by using the breathing ritual that I've explained already, gradually and patiently, breath by breath, tenderly exploring movement, listening to, and soothing the body. The day started off in full sloth mode, taking minutes to just get to the point of sitting up in bed, and then minutes more just to get to the bathroom. After the muscles were warmed and properly hydrated, like 2 hours later, the act of lifting heavy things and working my back for 13 total hours that day was actually helpful for me, being careful to guard my form with vigilance while carrying and loading, and being deliberate to breathe through the gentle, easeful twists and stretches in between loads and reps. That whole experience moved me forward through recovery faster than the whole week prior, dealing with literally the same exact injury the avoidant way.
Nice story, bro, but I don't know what proper form is, so I can't be injury-proof like you.
It's okay. Even some personal trainers don't really know what proper form is either, and that's their whole job. In short, proper form is all about maximizing mechanical leverage and minimizing joint wear, engaging fully with the muscles, so developing mind-muscle connection and a deeper sense of interoception, so as to avoid injury and develop highly functional tracks of movement for your anatomy, which may vary slightly from your trainer's anatomy. Now that you've learned nothing still about good form, here's probably the most seemingly random bit of advice that anyone has ever given you. Copy the babies. Babies that can already walk, watch how they move. They, in their supremely supple and injury-less state, have the most impeccable squat form. Why? My hypothesis is that their huge head has to be counterweighted by their hips to avoid head injuries. By falling forward, they normally lean into their hips and fall backwards. This requires, though, that they stack this big old noggin on top of their little toothpick necks, forcing their vertebrae to learn how to properly stack in perfect posture so that they can use their head as their momentum for walking bipedally by leaning whichever direction they plan on going. Emulate them to enter the realm of functionally safe ranges of motion. When healing from injury, you need this. They will teach you more about safe form than anything else, but it requires attention to detail and following their regimen. Now, before their walking days, they spend hours every day training their spine to support them in their journey to walking by doing cobras, essentially, or Supermans. If you want a spine that looks and feels amazing, spend some time arching the spine, opening the chest, pulling those shoulder blades together, and looking upwards, expanding through the front of the body. This, of all movement remedies, is the one for people that like to have independence and agency over their body, free from the woes of frequent spinal issues like throwing your back out or tweaking your neck. Plus, posture is hot. Like, show me a person that has good posture, just the silhouette, and compare that with someone whose silhouette has terrible posture. I mean, do the test yourself and see which one's more attractive. Now that we've covered what pain is, the importance of hydration, the languages of the body, and medicine in mindful movement through the previous 4 episodes, let's talk about self-care and bodywork tools for the soloist. What I have to teach is for the resource and relationship limited folks who are looking to lean more deeply into showing some self-love and appreciation. Till then.